Super J and Mad Mike are here again, coming to you on the WrestleKave YouTube channel. This time we're bringing to you some predictions and a preview of this Saturday's NXT Takeover 2 Spectacular, only found on the WWE Network. That's where we're going to be watching on Saturday night. And I'm looking forward to the show. How about you, Mike?
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. It's
Yeah.
going to be great, I hope.
Yeah. I'm just so happy with NXT that we're able to, see the next superstars of the WWE. And if you look at over half the roster right now, half the roster of the Raw and SmackDown brands came from NXT over the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, getting bigger and bigger. And I even hear some people that are excited, and they even think of NXT as another brand of WWE. And I'm kind of on the crosshairs with that. I just believe that the whole objective for NXT is to grow young talent and make them into stars so they can make it onto the main rosters of Raw and SmackDown and then become, superstars. So what's your opinion on that?
I like it because it's a smaller show.
More intimate type feeling?
Yeah. And I just think it could go high.
It could just get bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah, bigger.
Absolutely.
It
Triple
could get
H.
huge.
Yeah, Triple H has, made it his, baby in the WWE, and he's just done a great fucking job of, getting young talent signed from around the world from all these different promotions.
Everybody.
And then giving them shots, and letting them build their own character. And then some of them that have come in from outside of the WWE, that, they know Triple H and the guys at NXT seem to know, do we stick with, the things that got this guy here and, stuff like that. Because it seems like some stars that have had, like Finn Balor, has had, such fame around the world, they seem to let him stick to what he does, and they really just put a little bit of WWE, into it.
But, talking about him real quick, everybody, like you weren't a big...
Yeah, Finn Balor fan, I wasn't, and he's grown on me.
Yes.
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
And I think he has it. I was in the boat that you were in.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan.
You're on the fence, yeah.
Yeah, but seeing him on Raw,
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely amazing.
Since the draft has happened, he's burst onto the scene and showed to WWE fans what NXT is all about. He's the longest reigning NXT champion. Finn Balor was up until this point. And let's go ahead and show you some of the matches. Let's get some predictions here. First, we're going to go out with one of the newest superstars to the WWE NXT brand, and that is Ember Moon, making her NXT debut against Billie Kay. And if anybody doesn't know, Ember Moon is an African-American black woman who's a great women's wrestler. Apparently has made her name around the world and around the independent circuits. And she's got this great move where she jumps off the top rope and she gets him with like this spin stunner in midair. And it's just pretty cool. And she's got a whole, gimmick and costume and just really cool. I'm really excited to see her. What about you?
I feel the same way.
Yeah. Over the last few weeks, they've really built her up.
Yeah,
and if you read anything online, that's all they're talking about is Ember Moon. And you've seen some of the finishing moves that she has.
It's just like that, what's the guy? That,
Bobby Roode?
No. From the Cruiserweight.
Okay, yeah,
what's his name? Can't think of it.
I'm trying to think of his name. Tony.
Yeah.
I can't forget. But who do you got here? Ember Moon or Billie Kay?
Moon.
Yeah, I think we're going with Ember Moon here. She's got her debut NXT pay-per-view match, special event. I'm taking Ember Moon all the way. Next, we're gonna go with No Way Jose is going one-on-one with Austin Aries, and No Way Jose has got a cool little gimmick. He's definitely, became a fan favorite in NXT. And, Austin Aries coming all the way from TNA from years of being their champion and being in their circuit. And he basically, came to NXT and maybe, 6 months ago. And he's, waiting for his turn. But, definitely going to be a good match at NXT TakeOver. Austin Aries is just coming into his own. I felt he was a little out of shape when they first signed him into NXT. Yes. I think he's definitely getting in shape. And we can, have not seen the best of Austin Aries in NXT. So who are you going to pick in this match?
Who's the first guy?
No Way Jose or Austin Aries.
No Way Jose.
Yeah, No Way Jose. Mad Mike's picking No Way Jose. I'm going to go with Austin Aries because I think NXT, they definitely need heels to go around. I think Austin Aries is creative, move set, and just a really cool wrestler to have in NXT. So I'm taking Austin Aries.
What's next?
Next, we got the tag team titles held by, the Revival, also known as AKA the Andersons, is where I'd like to call them, because they're just like an old throwback of a tag team. They can just whoop ass, and, they don't take no names, man. They just, old school throwback tag team. Yeah, and I really enjoy them. They've got some cool moves that I haven't seen before, and they know how to really, make a match their own. They can really control the pace of the match, and really seems like the fans really, gravitate to hate them and to dislike them. I love the Revival. They're great. Two-time NXT Tag Team Champions. They're going against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And those guys have been well known around the world, and they are just starting to get their shot in NXT. Over the last few months, you've seen them on TV, and they're both single stars around the world. They've made a tag team, and now they're in NXT. And you know what? Skeptical about these guys, but I think more tag teams are needed on the Raw brand, and I think the loser of this match is going to go to Raw and win the tag team titles there, is what I think. The WWE tag titles.
Well, this is what I think. I think the Revival should win, but what you said, I want them to lose so they can go on to Raw.
Yeah. So who do you got in this match? You got to pick one.
The Revival.
The Revival?
Yeah, I'm going with them.
All right, I think I'm going to go against you this time again. I'm going to pick Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa to walk away with the NXT Tag Gold, and then the next night on Monday Night Raw, I'm predicting the Revival to make their way onto the scene and maybe win the WWE Tag Team titles on Monday Night Raw the night after SummerSlam. That's what I'm predicting. Next, we're going to go on to the next match, and this is Andrade Almas Cien Almas versus Bobby Roode, who's making his glorious debut in NXT. And
Bobby Roode all the way.
Yeah, I think we're going with Bobby Roode, both of us. Bobby Roode's a guy in his late 30s that has been, a great wrestler. He used to be a tag team with James Storm in TNA called Beer Money, and now he's finally he ended up becoming TNA champion when he became a singles wrestler. But he's just a great wrestler. He knows how to, really control the pace of the match, just like the Revival does as a tag team. And I think Bobby Roode can be really the biggest heel of NXT once Samoa Joe makes his way up to the main roster. I think Bobby Roode is well needed at NXT.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think we're both picking Bobby Roode here. Andrade Cien Almas, he's, a Latino wrestler. He's definitely got some cool moveset, but he really hasn't gelled with the fans yet. And he had his debut a couple months ago on an NXT special event on the WWE Network. And since then, they haven't done anything with him. So we're both going to pick a glorious debut for Bobby Roode. And what a theme song, man. I mean, as soon as I heard that theme song when he debuted on NXT and trashed down the fans, you can just tell Bobby Roode's got the gimmick, he's got the entrance theme music, and he sure as hell got the wrestling skills to really make it in NXT and in WWE. So we're picking Bobby Roode. Next, we're going on with the women's titles match in NXT, and that's going to be Asuka defending the women's title, the undefeated Asuka, defending the NXT Women's title against Bayley. Now, Bayley's won her NXT title. She held it for approximately 8 months until she lost it to Asuka. Bayley also made her debut at the Battleground pay-per-view when she tag teamed with Sasha Banks. And I'm really waiting for Bayley to make it up to the main roster scene, but I think, they wanted to keep Bayley in so they would have a nice opponent for Takeover 2 for Asuka with the rematch. But in all honesty, I think Asuka's going to win here. And I think Bayley it's time for her to make her way up to the main roster. I mean, Asuka's a great wrestler. She can control NXT along with Ember Moon, the women's, scene. But Bayley, you've got to strike while the iron's hot, man. You've got to put Bayley up on the main roster. The girls love her. The little kids love her. My daughter is a big fan of her. And she's got the song. She's got the music. She's even a good wrestler. So I'm going to pick Asuka to win here and Bayley to make it up to the SmackDown. Maybe next week. Who are you picking?
Bayley, I want to win just so she could get her revenge.
And she'd be the first time, two-time
Exactly.
NXT Women's Champion, which would be the first time any woman's done that.
Exactly. So she gets her revenge and gets Asuka the loss.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Bayley.
You're going with Bayley.
Yep.
See, some of my predictions are based on, as NXT being a developmental, program, you've got to think, of when these stars are going to make their way up to the main roster, to Raw and SmackDown, and, become
But nobody
superstars.
has any idea.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a guessing game, and, it's pretty cool. It's something different than, the Raw and SmackDown brand. Just like, the superstars are constantly changing over from year to year, and, there's a lot of new talent coming in at each time, and that's very invigorating for anybody that watches WWE. You always want to see who's next, because you see the talent now, and talent can get hurt at any time, and just like Daniel Bryan and other guys, that their careers have ended short. CM Punk ended up making his way and leaving, and you never know. So you got to build as many stars as you can, in my opinion. You talk about always the Attitude Era had so many stars in the WWE, main eventers.
Right there.
With Undertaker, Mankind, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane. I mean, the list was endless,
Yep.
And now you only have a handful of stars. But hopefully with this draft and this brand extension, hopefully they really let loose and they let, maybe 8 or 10 guys become champions over the next couple of years. So they really solidify the main event scene.
Exactly. So they don't. So it's not always this guy against this guy.
Yeah,
this
so
guy's holding the title. It's going to be a big
constantly
group.
new faces and new guys winning gold and jumping onto the main event scene, because that's always exciting.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what we all as WWE fans want to see, And next we're going to go on with the main event. Before I go on to the main event, from what I understand, they're also going to be taping a couple matches that we're not going to be able to see on the network this Saturday for NXT TakeOver, but they're going to be taping a couple matches that are going to air over the next couple weeks on NXT program, and they seem to do that every time they have an NXT TakeOver event. They seem to have as many faces get in front of those big crowds as they can. That way they can get in front of the fans and they can really feel what it's like to wrestle in front of 15,000 fans, Yeah. But, so we're going to see some matches over the next couple weeks that we don't see on Saturday. But the final matchup of the night, the main event, is going to be the champion, Samoa Joe, NXT champion, who's been one great champion, man. He walks and talks like a champion.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he walks and talks like a badass that can legitimately kick your ass. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to piss Samoa Joe off. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to fuck with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. And that's one of the guys that I was skeptical about. Samoa Joe. I know you've been a big fan of him for years. And I've watched TNA just, at times, just like a lot of other guys. And I really was a fan of Samoa Joe. But since he came to NXT, he's really proven that he belongs in the WWE.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
And he could do some crazy shit in the ring, man.
Yeah. And he can kick ass.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, exactly.
You think about Brock Lesnar that can just come in and kick ass. We were talking about earlier today, what a great main event to have.
Yeah, Samoa Joe
against Brock Lesnar one-on-one, man. In a fucking, bloody bare knuckle fight, man, because that's what they'd give us,
Not like the bullshit that we saw WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar.
Right.
That, in my opinion, was shit.
Right. It was. Well, we heard a little bit about Dean Ambrose, what the things he said about Brock Lesnar.
Exactly.
And what can you say? Brock Lesnar, he is what he is. But I think a great
He's
star,
a bad motherfucker.
a great young star in WWE to have fight against Lesnar would definitely be Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Samoa Joe is going to make his way up to the main roster on SmackDown. I think that another heel is going to be needed on SmackDown, and I think Samoa Joe makes his way up there in the next few weeks, at the end of August or then early September, to the SmackDown brand. He's really needed there. Just imagine Samoa Joe versus Dean Ambrose, or Kalisto, or Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler. I'm just throwing guys out there. I'm just throwing guys out there on the SmackDown brand because there's not many of them. Apollo Crews. I mean,
Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, Rhino even. Rhino, we saw that in NXT.
Oh, yeah.
But let's go on to the main event match here.
Let's go.
Samoa Joe's facing Shinsuke Nakamura. And Shinsuke was a dude that I really wasn't familiar with.
Me either.
In the wrestling scene. He's made his name in Japan. And, he's got this strong style type of wrestling that he does that's known over there in Japan. And he's basically in your face, hitting and kicking and, just that style of like jujitsu, karate, whatever type stuff that these wrestlers learn nowadays, whatever the shit is, it's devastating, is all I can say, because it seems like as quick as you're getting hit in the face, you're getting kicked in the ass. It's nonstop. It's like a flurry of craziness, all right? You know, but Shinsuke is on fire right now. His, you know, theme music I've heard is even one of the best-selling songs on iTunes.
Yeah, I heard that.
You know, I heard
that's crazy, man.
and that's crazy. It just shows you how popular this guy is around the world. And I think this is the time for Shinsuke. You know, he hasn't had a loss in WWE NXT either. And I think they have Shinsuke go over Samoa Joe in a very tough fight here.
Yes.
I think Samoa Joe beats the shit out of Shinsuke Nakamura in this main event, but somehow Shinsuke comes across with that Kinshasa like running knee, and I think he just knocks Samoa Joe out and he gets him for the 3 count. So I'm taking Shinsuke to win this match. You're picking Shinsuke too, and I'm picking Samoa Joe to make his way up to SmackDown Live on Tuesday nights here in August or September. So, you know, that's all we got to say, Super J and Mad Mike. There's your predictions and preview for NXT TakeOver 2 from Brooklyn this Saturday. Seems like it's going to be a real cool event. You know, it's just so weird when you look at last year, when you look at the card from NXT TakeOver 1 that we watched last summer,
was unreal.
Which was a great event. But you see how many of those guys are actually on Raw or SmackDown now.
Yes, exactly.
You know, so many of them are actually on the brands now. They're controlling the WWE. The NXT, you know, juggernaut enterprise that they have down there is just producing superstars at a very fast pace.
Yeah. Triple H
it's
is
awesome.
Doing it right.
Yes, he really is doing a great fucking job, man. You know, and I hope Triple H gets commended for it. And I know us WWE fans. Yeah, shout out to Triple H. You're the fucking man. Keep doing what you're doing at NXT because the WWE fans are really fucking enjoying it.
That's right.
Super J and Mad Mike, your WrestleKave Tag Team Champions of the World, coming at you. As always, tell us what you think about the predictions and review. And peace the fuck out. We'll see you guys next time.